Hi, I'm Jeremy Tate. This is Cathology, and today we're going to be talking about contraceptives. And instead of just talking about this like, hey, it's bad, don't do that, I want to just offer two brief stories with really poorly named characters, teenage boy and teenage girl, and offer that to you for your consideration. All right? As I do laundry. So, story A. Teenage boy meets teenage girl. Sparks fly. Emotions run high. He's very into things, right? She's pretty. He says silly things. She laughs. Even though no one else thinks he's funny. Teenage boy kisses teenage girl. He's feeling things he's never felt before, right? And teenage boy says, I love you to teenage girl. And then, a few months later, teenage boy says, hey, teenage girl, I'm so in love with you. You're so beautiful. I think we should get naked and just do crazy, fun, naked things together, right? And at that point, teenage girl could say, no, because that's how babies are made. And we can't have a baby together because you don't have a job right now, because you live in your mom's basement, and because when most people are going to their jobs, you're playing video games. And no, we shouldn't have a baby right now. All right? And at that point, teenage boy could totally be like, all right, true, painful, but true. All right? And then he could say, you know what, teenage girl, I'm going to change. I'm going to become a man. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to buy you a ring. We're going to get married. We're going to have lots of sex and lots of babies, and it's going to be glorious and beautiful and awesome. All right? All right, time out on story A. What even is this thing? I'm folding as we talk, right? All right, story B. Story B starts off just like story A, except you know the part where he's like, hey, let's get naked? Well, at that exact part in story B, and she's like, no, because I don't want to have a baby with you. Well, at that part in story B, he's all like, well, you don't have to have a baby with me because I've got this little magic pill. And if you take the pill, no baby. Or I can wear this thing that I can wear, and no baby there either. All right? And at that point, teenage girl is like, oh, what do I do? I love him, and there's really not a threat for having a baby, and this really means a lot to him, so we should do this thing, right? And so they do, all right? And it's good. I mean, it's sex, right? They're having fun, okay? At least for a while. Right, and you know how this story goes probably, right? Things seem to be going well for a while, and then maybe like a year later, maybe even 6 months later, teenage boy comes back and he's like, teenage girl, listen, I'm stressed out. I'm stressed. And it's not you, it's me, I'm stressed, and I need space, okay? He breaks up with her, right? And what he really wants is to probably go do other naked things with girls with his little magic pill, right? And so this is just a brief look at how contraceptives have affected people on a relational level and how a willingness to use contraceptives changes everything, right? Think about what story A leads to. Story A leads to maturity, right? Ultimately, it leads to life and community, right? It leads to new humans, which is a good thing, right? It leads to long-lasting commitment and faithfulness. And these are all things that are good and that we desire. But what does story B lead to? Well, story B leads to isolation, right? It leads to mistrust. You don't know when the next person's going to leave you. It leads to despair sometimes, right? Ultimately, story B, it leads you to being like that 45-year-old dude at the bar who, when he walks in, everybody's like, who's the grandpa at the bar? And then there's always that poor girl who's like, actually, that's my dad, right? I always feel bad for that girl because that really does happen, and that's sad. Story B is an illustration of the kind of despair and isolation that Christ came to redeem us from, to bring us into his kingdom that is full of joy and life. And the question of contraceptives in a way, parallels these two realities and these two options. The Catholic Church does not teach what she does as a begrudging old rule giver. She teaches what she does because she knows that story A is the better story. It's the story that offers life and joy, and though it may be hard and extremely sacrificial, it's the better story. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Cathology. I'm Jeremy Tate. Our writer is Tim Feist, and our lone tech person is Jack O'Neill down at James Madison University. Thank you. Good night.